Shotguns catch a lot of heat these days. Some people think they're outdated, slow, or just for bird hunting. But in the right hands, a shotgun is still the most versatile tool a prepared citizen can own. Let's talk real world pros, cons, and how to actually make one work for your setup. All right, guys, another Prepared American here today, and we are going to be talking about shotguns. Shotguns are, Grandpappy's tool that he's used forever, that he keeps beside his door, next to his bed, under his bed, inside his truck, everywhere. So why do we dismiss shotguns in today's day and age? Well, one is the perception of slow reloads, high recoil, and that they're just kind of old school. We moved on to the next hottest thing, and that is not shotguns for the most part. That and being compared to modern ARs, PCCs, and pistols, they don't reload as fast, they don't shoot as fast for the most part, and the most important thing to most people is they don't look as cool. They're not as tactical. They get ignored because of this. Um, but that doesn't mean they're useless. They're actually far from it. They're one of the most versatile tools a person can own. And we're seeing that more prevalent in today's day and age in like the Russo-Ukraine war and places like that. So we're going to explain some of that real quick. So, of course, close quarters dominance. Everyone's played Call of Duty where you get absolutely owned by a dude with a shotgun. As soon as you turn a corner, he rips your face off. That's real life. That is real life. A shotgun up close is devastating. You have a large variety of ammo to choose from, whether it's buckshot, slugs, less lethal rounds if you have access to those, breaching rounds. So you have lots of different options when it comes to ammo. Next is going to be ammo availability. So ammo is everywhere in America. For a 12 gauge shotgun, you can get in every single gun shop in America without a doubt. Next is going to be adaptability. So short barrels for CQB, long barrels for utility use / hunting. And then one of the biggest things that help people justify shotguns, in my opinion, is the cost. A good shotgun, a good pump action shotgun, you can get anywhere from $300 to $500. You do not need to spend big money to get a good shotgun. And then also, legally speaking, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice. But a shotgun in most states that have restrictive gun laws, which are an infringement on our rights anyways, but if you want to comply with those, that is up to you. You are an adult. You can do whatever you want. These almost never get touched by gun laws. This thing holds 7 rounds plus 1. That's a lot of 12 gauge. And then I have 5 more right here. So that can be devastating to a would-be intruder or a wascally wabbit on the back porch, So going over some of the weaknesses or challenges of a shotgun. One of them is that limited capacity. I mean, some shotguns, the little short guys, like Shockwaves, they hold like 3 rounds, 3-4 rounds max. And that is very limiting. Even if you do have a little side saddle or speed loader or whatever, you're limited. Using that to segue into the next thing, slower reloads, just by the nature of it, having to hand jam every single round, or even if you have a quad feeder or whatever, whatever 3-gun fancy stuff you have, it's still slower than shoving a drum into a PCC or into an AR. It's slower and you're getting less rounds. Recoil management is something that you have to train for, especially for newer shooters. A 12 gauge does recoil much more than an AR. And that's just by the nature of physics, I guess, And then the manual action, which is debatably a pro and a con. It kind of rides the fence because having a manual action means that you don't have to worry about feeding issues like you would on a semi-auto shotgun or any other semi-automatic weapon. And because of that, it leaves it up to operator error. So that's another thing we have to train to work around that, especially under stress. Because if you're using this guy in a real life situation, you're probably a little stressed. And you're going to have to remember, how to disengage the latch, how to push it forward, how to reload the gun, what to do whenever you're dry, stuff like that. All comes down to our training, which I always say is one of the most important things you can do as a prepared American, is to train for these emergency situations. we're talking about making the shotgun practical. We're looking at pump action versus semi-auto. I most of the time go to a pump action because they're cheaper, they're more plentiful, and they're just a little bit easier to justify for a common person who's looking at being prepared in a practical sense. They're reliable, they're simple. Semi-autos are faster, but they're also more sensitive to load selection. So whenever you're looking at load selection, this is a high brass 1 ounce slug. It's high brass because the brass is higher up to shell. And yes, these are called shells in this case. Don't call regular bullets shells. They're not. These are shells. Talking about ammo loadouts, you have slugs, buckshot, birdshot, all kinds of different stuff. Knowing how to match that to your environment is extremely important, and I can definitely elaborate that more in a future video with a local subject matter expert that I've known for a long time that I think would be awesome to have on, and would love to share his expertise with shotguns, specifically with like duck hunting and stuff like that. There's also a ton of different ways to carry ammo for these things. I mean, they make a million different ways. This little thing, it's made by Allen, holds an extra 5 rounds, goes right on their most shotguns. But yeah, these things, I mean, they're super inexpensive. That's like $5. You can get the side saddles that are metal for a little bit more. You can get plastic ones that go up here, quick loaders, all kinds of stuff. Ultimately, all that matters is practicing with your gear. If you have this guy, you're going to practice reloads from here or however you want to do it, reloading from here, throwing them up in there, getting them in there. Because training is the most important part. Weird. Who would have thought I'd say that? I'm beating the horse dead, but I'm going to keep doing it. All this to say, circling back to my Russo Ukraine comment, shotguns aren't dead. People are using them in the field in Ukraine fighting drones because a drone is essentially just a bird because birds aren't real. So whenever we take a little bit more intention to run these guns well, you're going to be a more prepared citizen who has a tool that can defend, hunt, breach, and adapt to any situation they find themselves in. And because of that, the shotgun, I think, still belongs in your kit. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys agree with me, or if the shotgun has been replaced in your arsenal by a pistol or an AR or whatever. Or if you have a shotgun, which one do you have? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. But most importantly, make sure you stay hydrated, stay strapped, and stay blessed. Thank you guys.